Uh-huh.
You know
Said that?
Yeah, you know how polyester gets.
I do.
Wash it.
What was the other one? You're peeled like an orange?
Yeah, they used to call me back in the day. They called me Orange.
Once upon a time.
Stop hating, Scott.
I'm not hating. I'm
It's
just
too
telling the
early in the
truth.
morning to be a hater.
Let's get it started. Let's start with Jay Cutler. He arrived in Miami yesterday and signed a reported 1-year, $10 million deal with the Dolphins. Cutler was brought in after Ryan Tannehill suffered a knee injury in practice last week. And yesterday he talked about his decision to come back to the NFL. Let's take a listen.
The last 4 months I've been in a different mode, different mindset, getting ready for the Fox deal. And it was really, pretty good with where I was in my life. I was around the kids a lot and felt pretty content. So weighed back and forth on this. I'd probably say my wife, Kristen, probably talked me into it more than anybody else could. A situation like this, just doesn't come along very often. I know Adam very well. I've known him since '06, the first year I came out. I know the system. You're talking about a playoff team with a lot of really, really good football players, a lot of potential. So it was one of those things that there weren't a lot of opportunities or jobs out there. If they would have came up, I would have taken. But this has got to be the top of the list. Good thing is I play quarterback, so I don't really have to be in that great of cardiovascular shape. But I'll be fine. Adam knows kind of what I've been up to, so we'll figure it out along the way.
Shannon, what was your biggest takeaway from the presser?
You want to answer this one, Joy?
Apparently you don't have to be in shape to play football anymore.
Skip. It's what I've been saying and what a lot of people have been saying about Jay Cutler since he's arrived in the National Football League. He doesn't have that burning passion to be great. He doesn't have that burning desire, that love. I'm not sure that he loves football, but I know one thing for 100% for certain. He's not in love with football. In order to be great, you got to love it, Skip. You don't need somebody to push you out. You think Giselle have to push Tom out the door? You think Drew Brees' wife, or Matt Ryan, Sarah, I know Sarah, with her, they take spin class and work at the gym together. You think they have to push those guys out the door, Skip? Think about it, Skip. I'll put it, okay, let me give it to you like this. You have a job making X. This new job wants to give you 25 times X. I need 24 to 48 hours to think about it. What you think about? It's something you've been doing for the last 11 years. But you walked away because, as you mentioned, they either retire you or you lack the desire and the requirements that it takes to play that. Skip, he doesn't love it. Now, the Dolphins should be very alarmed because, as Joey mentioned, he's not in shape, but he don't really have to be in great cardiovascular shape. Boy, can you imagine? I'm thinking right now, Tom Brady, like, man, I don't need to be in shape. I don't need to be in the peak physical conditioning. Aaron Rodgers. Now, here's a guy that looked, you saw the picture that he posted on vacation. Whew. That was right after football season. Can you imagine what 4 months have done to that body and no working out, Joy? Y'all in a heap of trouble. Skip Bayless, you ought to be ashamed of yourself that you're going to say, I'm from Vanderbilt. That's a representation of you.
You know what I'm going to say.
Not because I know you. Jay Cutler is a representation of one Skip Bayless who attended Vanderbilt University.
He is actually not.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no. You're not going to distance yourself from him now.
I am.
Because he's a little rotund, a little portly. Oh, no. You normally say, and he's from Vanderbilt, the Harvard of the South. Well, no, Vanderbilt. Harvard is the Vanderbilt of the North. That's what it is.
Thank you. That is true. That's the first true thing you've said so far today.
But, Skip, that body language. Now, you told me Adam Gase had done a great job on Jay Cutler's body language.
Get your head up. Get your head up.
I
He
think
comes off the field. Get your head up.
I remember when I was going to church and I'd get ready to do my Easter speech, and my grandpa said, boy, take your hands out your pocket. Hands in his pocket, like, yeah. I think I was pretty content with where I was in my life, and I think my wife, Kristen, she probably talked me back into coming more than anybody. So you needed someone to talk you into going to take $10 million. Where they do that at, Skip? And the Dolphins think they're going somewhere with this guy. That's what they believe. Tickle me. Skip, the Dolphins tickle me. And you know what? You know who's laughing the loudest? Coach Belichick is laughing. Coach Belichick like, they signed Jay Cutler.
I don't know about that.
We signed Jay Cutler. All the DBs just turning cartwheels. Somebody from the AFC East going to lead a league in interception because they played the Dolphins twice.
I think Coach Belichick is thinking, don't get to play Ryan Tannehill.
Oh, yeah. No, he's like, no, when we get to play Jay Cutler, who's going to give us even more turnovers? Tannehill might not know where to go with the football.
He does not know.
But Jay Cutler is going to throw it to the other team, although he knows where to go. Skip, hey, they did it. Adam Gase, he's familiar with Jay Cutler. Jay Cutler's familiar with him. But, Skip, I'm not encouraged. If you're encouraged by his body language and the tone in which he talked, normally guys coming back in the NFL, think about it. Normally guys, man, I'm so excited. These opportunities, they don't come. And for them to think about me and want me to possibly lead this team, which I believe has playoff aspirations, has playoff potential. You look loaded with talent. Man, I am so excited. I can't wait to get going. I was pretty content with my life and, you know, hanging out with the kids. Good job, Miami.
Before I discuss body language, I'm going to discuss Jay Cutler's body. And I have been a student of Jay Cutler's body just because I've been a student of Jay Cutler since he was a junior at Vanderbilt University, when friends of mine who live in and around Nashville kept calling me saying, have you been watching this guy? Yeah, I've been watching this guy. That body in his first 5 or 6 years was always a little tubby, a little portly, a little I got a spare tire kind of a body, like Tony Romo-esque.
Not that donut tire. A real official-sized tire.
An official-sized tire. But about 3 years ago, he was enlightened, the way Tom Brady's been enlightened, and he completely changed his nutrition and his diet. And that's why his wife posted that picture of him on vacation. It was fairly impressive as bodies go. The one on vacation?
I mean, if you're a sumo wrestler, that looks great.
The one on vacation,
Yeah,
where
when
he didn't have any
his bare
clothes
bottom.
on? I thought he looked pretty good. For if you knew what he used to look like.
If he's Takana Hana or Wakana Hana, one of those great sumo wrestlers from Japan, that's a perfect body. But for a quarterback that's playing professional football,
Yeah. Hey, to me yesterday, the proof was, so to speak, in the pudding or the not pudding, because I don't think he eats pudding anymore. I thought his body looked good to my eye yesterday as he walked into the press conference.
But
just on body weight, just on weight, he looked just fine to me. And they did say he's been playing a lot of pickup basketball at Vanderbilt. He's been doing something.
But remember, Skip, about, 5 or 6 years ago, he was diagnosed as a diabetic.
Well, it's been longer than that.
Yeah,
but
I think might have been early in his career in Denver, so maybe 8 or 9 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you got to give him that. Okay.
No.
Now back to the body language. I cannot defend it, and I will not defend it, but I'll tell you what I think about it. Again, I began to defend Jay Cutler on my old show, going all the way back to Cold Pizza back in his junior year at Vanderbilt, when I began to rave about him, because in the Southeastern Conference, he would attempt to run over linebackers for Florida or Tennessee or Georgia, NFL-bound linebackers. He would look for them to say, I'm coming for you, just the way we saw Ezekiel Elliott go after Cam Chancellor in that preseason game a year ago up in Seattle. And that's the guy that I think a lot of the players know. That's the guy Adam Gase knows. But this is also the guy who, with stereotypical Vanderbilt arrogance, despises the media and having to do interviews. So how does he deflect during interviews? He goes into his blasé, I could give a you-know-what mode about football or life or just about anything else, or especially about doing this interview. And I don't know Jay Cutler. I've never talked to Jay Cutler, but if I did, I would give him my 2 cents from a distance, that especially in the NFL, and especially when you're a franchise quarterback, image is everything.
Yes.
Body language is everything. Interviews are everything. And he's doing irreparable harm to his image with the way he conducts himself in the interview. He's trying to deflect. Tom Brady gets away with it because he goes into, aw shucks, gee whiz, the Jets are a great team, and we got to play a great game to beat that great Jets team. Baloney, Tom, and you call baloney and I call baloney. But nobody really cares because it doesn't hurt Tom's image.
Right.
It actually kind of helps Tom's image. But that's the way he deflects a media that he does not like. That's the way he avoids having to answer tough questions. Jay Cutler avoids by just saying, I don't know. I was pretty content with my life, and we were going to go on vacation, and I don't know. My wife finally said, well, why don't you go do this? So you know what? I'll give it a try. We'll just see what? You know, I want to reach through my TV and grab him by the throat and just shake him because I don't believe in his heart of hearts that's what he thinks. He would not have left a gig at this network to go reunite with the coach that he finally loved. He finally had one coach that he really loved, that he thrived under, and it's like a 1,000,000,000 thank you God shot that the heavens opened and said, hey, it's like God said, here, Jay Cutler, guess what you get to do? It should have been Colin Kaepernick. He had an issue with the Cuban community in Miami. It just should have been. So what happens? It's Adam Gase and Jay Cutler. Well, he couldn't get a job because the Bears said no finally.
Right.
So he's out on the market, and it was clear the NFL had also rejected him on very different reasons than Colin Kaepernick is being rejected, because people were just sick and tired of the act of Jay Cutler.
Yes.
Like, that's enough. We get it. You can throw it. We get it. You got 208 touchdown passes, but you can't win because your teammates won't respond to you as the leader of the football team.
Correct.
So here we go. He finally gets a third chance at age 34 in the perfect scenario, a team that made the playoffs last year, that has a chance to be even maybe a little better, dare I say, a little better.
Yeah.
Again, they're stuck in the wrong division, but you can still make the playoffs out of that division. And that's the time when you jump to the microphone and you say, I can't believe I got this opportunity to reunite with Adam. This is such a good football team. It's in a great place. I love it here. I love the weather. This is going to be my dream job, right? Don't you want to hear that?
You see how your arms are flailing?
Yeah.
You're like, I'm so excited. His hands never left his pocket.
Never left his pockets.
His
because
tone
they never do. Do you know that's why he fell in the draft? I was raving about his ability going into that draft. And I said, boy, I'm taking him in the top 5. I love Vince Young. I love Vince just a little more. I did not love our guy, Matt Leinart, quite as much.
Right.
But Matt goes 10, and then your man, Mike Shanahan, who knows a thing or two about football, right?
Yes.
He said, I'm going up there. I'm going to get this kid. I don't care about his pre-draft interviews, which turned a lot of people off because he seemed like he didn't love football. But Mike said, I don't care because that guy can play football because he can throw the hell out of the football, and he's a tough guy. So I want a tough guy with a big arm and athletic. Listen, young Jay, he could run a little bit. I'm not saying he's like a dynamo athlete. He's not Michael Vick, but he could run a little bit.
Yes.
Could move a little bit.
He was perfect for the West Coast offense.
He was. So that should have been a thank you, God opportunity with Mike Shanahan and the Denver Broncos in a place that you love and one of the great football cities in this country.
Yep.
And yet he never really embraced it, even though he did make a Pro Bowl in those first couple of years in Denver.
For 4,500 yards.
He also happened to have a